What's up, everybody? This video comes from an actual Facebook post where someone asked me about this book in particular, this chemical warfare book. They said, Joji, am I reading this correctly? Is this book selling for between $200 and $600? And should I pick it up? So, of course, I had a reply and I went into a Keepa deep dive on this one book and I really analyzed it really hard. So, if you want to know my thought process behind how I analyze books using Keepa, this is a great example. It's raw, unedited video of me just thinking through the whole process. And if you like this kind of stuff, let me know in the comment section below, because I wasn't even sure if I was going to post this because I wasn't sure people were going to like it. But if you do like it, let me know down below and I'll do more stuff like this in the future. Hey, how's it going, Candy? So here's the book that you just came across, Chemical Warfare Secrets. You can see that the buy box is $614. So what that means is if somebody wanted to buy the book right now, they'd have to spend $614. The question you have to ask yourself is that actually a realistic amount that you should be asking for the book? And therefore, that would determine if you would buy the book and also how much you'd pay for the book. So we're here at the Keepa chart, right? And remember that this green line is the sales rank. Every time that sales rank drops, that indicates a sale. And what you do is hover over the sales rank with this black line, which is the lowest used price, and that gives you an indication of what the book sold for. So you can see that the sales rank at this point in time on September 20th was 4.6 million. And then on September 23rd, a couple of days later, it's now at 246,000. So what that means is this product became more popular on Amazon. What that means is that the book sold. And you can also see down here that the used offer count went from 5 to 4, which indicates that, yeah, somebody who was selling the book no longer selling the book because someone bought the book. So the question is, well, what did the book sell for? Well, again, if you just overlap the two, you notice that as soon as this copy gets bought out, that the used price jumps from $298.99 to $643. So what that tells me is that the person who sold this book sold it for $298. And you could probably even come here to the data tab. You might be able to go to buy box, use statistics, and it actually looks like there's no data for there. So I guess we can't do that. Now, what's interesting is that same thing happened, right? As this book stopped selling, you see its sales rank start going up. And then all of a sudden you see it drop back down again. And what you notice is that the used offer count goes from 4, actually goes down to 2. So I'm not sure if that necessarily means that the person bought 2 copies, but what it does mean is that whoever bought this book at this point in time spent $650 for it. And then you can see the sales rank goes back up, and up again. And then it drops, which indicates the book became more popular, which means that it sold. And again, you can hover over the lowest used price and you can see that it sold for $443. So what's interesting about this book is that in the past year, you notice that it sold 3 times. And kind of what's really interesting, kind of weird about this book is that 2 of the times that it sold, it was for significantly more than what you could have bought it for during February through September, where it looks like this person who was listed at $298.99, we could basically see when they came on the listing, because you notice that the price at this point in time was $650, the used offer count was 3, and then what happened is somebody came on the listing. You can see the used offer count went from 3 to 4, and the price went down to $298.99. So basically, the person who sold the book right here listed the book probably as a merchant fulfiller in January and waited about 9 months to sell the book. Now, if you're a merchant fulfiller, meaning you have the book at your house on your shelf and you ship it out and someone buys it, then that's great, because this person I would bet this person probably paid like $1 for this book. So that's a massive return on their time, right? Now, it depends on kind of how much you're willing to pay for the book or what the person's asking for it. If they're just like, if this is a free book pickup, I would 100% pick this up, because even though it's only sold 3 times in the last year, the amount of money that this book has sold for is quite substantial, right? It's a lot different than if, let's say, these 3 sales were at $20, right? That's a lot different, because maybe it doesn't make sense to hold a book on your shelf for that long if it's not going to sell so much. But clearly, when this book has sold, it's sold for a considerable amount of money. Now, one thing that I'd recommend that you do is don't just look at a year's worth of data, because oftentimes books are published, long time ago. Like this book was published in 2006. So look at the history of this book in terms of all of the data that Keepa has basically scraped from Amazon's webpage. So you can see that back in 2015, right, this blue line, which is the new price, this book was being sold by sellers, third-party sellers, for $69. It looks like at that time, the used price was also about $55. And then you can see kind of how over time, between 2015 to 2018, the new price and the used price is pretty consistent. And you also see a number of sales rank drops, which again indicates that the book is selling. So what this tells me is that, clearly people are willing to spend 50 or 60 bucks back in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. The question is there a reason for people to not want to buy this book anymore? And generally the reason why someone would stop buying a book is if it's required for like schooling, or if there's there's a newer edition out. To me, it doesn't look like there's a newer edition of this because it doesn't say edition anywhere on this listing. Also, generally, if there is a newer listing, it's going to populate here. And if a book's was published in 2006 and it's still selling to this day, it's likely that probably there isn't a new edition, or at least there's still some demand for it. Okay, so what you notice is that at the time when the last person who was selling this new actually sold out at, basically it was at $69 for a long time, then it went up to 136, then it jumped to 1,000. What you notice is that people stopped wanting to buy this book for the most part because, I mean, you think about it as from a logical perspective. Like if you could have bought this book for $60, $69 new or used for a long time, and then all of a sudden the price jumps up to 1,000, like would a logical human being be willing to pay for that? Probably not. So, a lot of people will look at this data for this next year and say, oh, the book's not selling because no one wants it. But again, you got to think of it like a logical human being. Who's going to pay $1,100 to buy this book new, or pay $1,898 to buy it used, or even $649? Like who's willing to pay that? Not very many people. But despite that, you notice that as soon as this book drops from $650 down to $98, all of a sudden it only took about 2 weeks for someone to buy it, because probably whoever this person was who wanted this book, they're eyeing it for the last year and they're like, dude, I'm not going to spend $600 or $1,000 for this book, but you know what? I'll definitely spend $97 for it. And look what happens as soon as someone buys that copy. Then all of a sudden the price goes back up to $650. And again, is a logical human being going to spend that much money? Probably not. It comes back down to $140, and then you see, okay, there are some sales here in the $140 range. It looks like there's 4 sales there. This would be 1 sale there, 2 sales, a 3rd sale right there, 4 sale there. So 4 people were willing to buy it for that. And then, you just keep going on and you notice like, oh, wow, someone bought it for $299, someone bought it for $390. So absolutely, this is a book I'd pick up. Would I send it in Amazon FBA? Probably not, unless you're willing to price it a lot cheaper so that it moves within 6 months. But this is something I'd slap on the shelf. And if it were me, I'd be listing this thing for probably the buy box price, because there is recorded historical sales of $650. If you wanted to sell it a little bit quicker, price it at $298. If you wanted to sell it probably within 2 weeks time, list it for $99. So anyways, I hope this helped. This is kind of how we analyze books in the eBay to Amazon mentorship group. I'm one of the coaches there. But I thought I'd just go ahead and give you my 2 cents on this book. So have a great day, and later.